like a countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The Villains Talk Show
Podcast
with
things and stuff.
Jonathan, Sarah Vike, Mr. Insanieac, and Jeremy McNeil. I'm your host, Jonathan.
Hostess is the mostest, the question every day.
And we were supposed to have a guest, but they bailed. Hopefully they'll come another day.
Not sure.
Not much I can do about that. But,
kidnap him and force him to join.
I mean, I totally could. It's definitely a thought.
It is a podcast for villains.
Right.
It is.
I mean, if we have to kidnap a guest once in a while.
Right? I would not mind. It would be. I mean, it's part of everything, right?
Part of the theme.
It's just pretty inherent.
It's just thematic.
It's what we do.
Make sure everything's all right on stream. Yes, it's all good. Good to know. Well, today's topics are on screen: religious upbringing, first tattoos, and Marvel vs. DC Comics. And everyone can comment on at least 2 of the 3 things, which is highly useful.
That's true. That's true.
So they're no any particular order, but I guess we'll just start with religious upbringing. And who wants to start? I mean, I can. I was raised Christian and Jewish. At 12, I decided to pick Jewish, and I got bar mitzvahed at 13. And my mom still brought me to churches every Sunday. It was kind of weird.
Going to both.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Because I'm like, I don't believe in this anymore, Mom. She's like, you're not young enough to truly understand what you did.
It's one of those things where you're like, did you hear what he just said? It just contradicted the other guy.
But I've always been very open about religion. I guess now, although I'm still religiously Jewish, I kind of have my own not set beliefs, but like my own understanding on how religion would work. I guess that's best for me. I've always figured that it's about having faith, and what you have faith in is essentially what it is, how it boils down. So, I mean, some people would call me agnostic. Some people would call me fucking stupid. Other people just stop listening when I start talking about religion, as I'm sure everyone, as someone may be able to attest to.
It's not like you wrote "Hail Satan" all over my house once or twice.
No, once or twice.
I mean, I was a rebel child. That's not fair. I used to when the churches I'd go to, because I sang in choir, I would make it a thing to go up to the pedestal where the priests stand and write "Hail Satan" somewhere inside what's it called?
Pulpit?
Yeah, the pulpit. So I mean, I was, but that was just dumb teenager doing dumb teenager things, right?
Sure.
This was like 4 years ago, so.
Well, that's
dumb 26-year-old.
Permanently, it wasn't with permanent marker. It's not like I may or may not have gone to a house party when I was 17 with a bunch of friends, and we may have written over the entire house because there's a bunch of drunk 16-year-olds, but not like that, because we did that with permanent marker. I mean, we maybe did that with permanent marker. Maybe. I cannot confirm nor deny this. But I don't know. It makes me very open. I guess my religion is, if I believe in God, then everything has to kind of be real, because you can't that means
you can't have one without having everything.
Yeah, like my argument is, if you believe in God, then which I kind of have to, would mean that I cannot with good conscience stand here and tell you leprechauns don't exist. Because if an all-supreme, all-knowing, all-crazy being just is rising over us, what makes him not want to make leprechauns? I mean,
They're assholes. That's a very good reason.
But you understand my point here is so.
I'm just creating another point. That's all.
Yeah. But let's go around with the non-religious people first. So Andrew.
I mean, I grew up to some degree with like Protestant parents, and like I think my mom was Catholic-ish. I'm not really sure. They didn't really make us choose a topic. I remember going to church once, maybe as a kid, but I don't know if it was like as a neighborhood like potluck or something, or if it was like I don't think it was like an actual like sermon or anything like that. Might have been like a get help. I really don't know. But I was too young to really remember. We were there, and then when I was older, I used to like my school was beside a Catholic school. I went to public school, but I never really I don't know, never really thought about it too much. And as I got older, it never really hit too much for me. I ended up kind of like looking into different aspects, like more just life experiences to some degree. But I mean, I've thought of the concept of different things personally. It's I think it could be possible. I think it's hard to deny something that's really you don't have full factual like awareness of it. You know, to some degree, you can't deny a possibility if you're not really sure what isn't impossible, because the impossible gets changed every day. You know, things get new technologies get created and stuff. Things species get discovered all the time. So who knows what's really possible or not possible when the future hasn't invented it yet.
If you could, I guess, label your beliefs or what you think you would be, what how would you kind of label yourself?
For a time, there was I kind of considered myself a Taoist of sorts.
Sorry, what was that? A Taoist?
Yeah, not really like very fervent in any really way. I don't make belief systems my focal point of life. I make experiences with people and things my kind of like. But
I'm not very educated on Taoism, so go into that bit. What was that? What is that?
So Taoism to some degree it's a different kind of like split off from Buddhism in a way. Not to say it's not like a contestant or like something that's like rival or one says the opposite of the other.
Is that
It's
kind
just
of like Taoism? Because I don't know. I don't know anything.
Tao and Tao is kind of the same way. Yeah, it's just
I
I'm
think those two are considered opposites on the spectrum.
I'm not 100% sure.
But of the
I know when you
Buddhist
say
spectrum.
Taoism, like when you spell Tao, it's actually pronounced Tao. It's not said. It's not said Tao. It's just usually white people say it Tao or
Oh, that's interesting.
unaccented people. It's pronounced usually with a D.
So when we say Tao, we don't mean a bunch of aliens that believe in the one and use giant railguns and mech suits to fight across a grimdark universe.
Definitely not.
Probably not. Yeah.
Definitely not. I
One
mean,
thing
that'd be great if that was existent somewhere, but actually, probably not. Also, but
I mean, in a way, you could kind of say for my stuff, I kind of got inspired in a way that some other people did. Like I learned about it through a book, and who's not to say you learn Catholicism through a book as well. My parents had split up, and my dad gave me this book called the Tao of Fu. It was pretty much Taoism explained through Winnie the Pooh, and it was really brilliant, and it was very amazing. It wasn't like a cute child's book, Sarah. Like I like the idea of like, oh,
Okay.
but it's not.
It's not a cute child's book.
It's actually explained in theory and debate and like definitive like explanation. It's not just like, oh,
Okay.
Winnie the Pooh went to the forest, and no, it's not a storybook. It's
Okay.
it's an ideology book. So, but there's actually another one called that's the sequel to it called The Tale of Piglet, but I want to read that one. I haven't gotten to it. I gave my friend this copy of the Tao Pooh, but actually, this book in my mind it's been a traveling book because my dad got the book from somebody else, and then he gave it to me, and then I gave it to another friend who's in a tough times. They didn't want to read it. I don't really know why, and they decided to just give it to their like grandmother's pawn shop. So I never saw the book again, but it's not a big deal. It's just a book. But in the book of Taoism to some degree, it's more about life is its own kind of like fluid motion of things. It doesn't have its own kind of sentient. It's like water in the river going down the stream. Um, you when you're say if you were to say get caught into a river, you could say the same with your life. You're caught in existence. Um, but when you're in a river, trying to fight backwards through the waters you're trying to go and off to the side or through rapids and things like that, you tend to have a harder time to run out of stamina, oxygen. You get fatigued, you get exhausted. Whereas opposed to if you swim with the river and go with the flow of the current and find yourself getting to a safer place where you can get off down the river, you will come to a easier solution, and you won't be so hard pressed. And Taoism kind of explains it going with the flow of life instead of rejecting advances and things like that, like being like um, formed by confrontations and like hard pressed like a diamond. That's one mindset, but Taoism in a way says that there is no kind of negative output. The only negative output is what you put out there. And in life, if you put out in the way of good vibes, in the way of life not really having a vibe of anything, you just follow with the way streams go. You know, like if you throw a rock into a pebble, or a pebble into
Into the
ocean,
river.
yeah, into the river or the ocean, you see the ripples, right? And the water flows with those ripples easier because that's the direction of where the water goes, as opposed to if you fight towards against it. Same with like as the water comes to the surf, you get hit with all the tides and the rapids and the crushing pressure of the waves, right?
Mm-hmm. So
Taoism is like about going with things.
that's funny because in my religion, well, a real cut down version of Judaism is it's all about atonement, and whatever happens is God's will. There's nothing you can really do about it, and I mean, Yom Kippur just passed, which is pretty much one of the high holidays other than the New Year,
Mm-hmm.
because it focuses on like where the New Year is the harvest. Yom Kippur focuses around remembering people you lost and forgiving people that wronged you, and it's really it's why they call it a very solemn religion. It's
Mm-hmm.
like every story from Hanukkah to Purim to Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashanah, except Rosh Hashanah actually. It's usually a very solemn story. So like,
Yeah, the idea it's supposed to be a lesson on learning and how to get better as a people,
mm-hmm.
right?
So what?
I try not to myself try to stick to one kind of anything anymore. I find myself try to be a fluid kind of thinker of sorts. I don't. There's lots to learn from every religion aspect, different like lifestyles, cultures, ways of thinking. There's never really one perfect way.
Mm-hmm.
There's every way that suits your needs in your life, and that's only ever really gonna be something that I can achieve. Um, one thing that I've really been interested in, I'm not sure if it's a way of ideology or focusing or like I don't know. It's a study called biocentrism, and it's the idea and the belief um, that people, us as sentient creatures, and even like other species throughout time before even us, as we perceive things, we create things, and we create the universe and the planets and the things around us by needing that space to have something to grow. So technically, because in the way of some scientific studies, things aren't technically real unless you're technically observe it um, through certain experiments and stuff like that. And so something for me that's very something that I've been interested in the fact that technically, in a way, we are the only things that exist tangibly, in a sense, to a spiritual and an energy kind of driven sense.
So very Descartesian. It's very you exist is what I'm understanding, and
Hmm.
existence just it could be it's fleeting around you is
Yeah,
kind of what I'm getting from that.
in a way, yeah. But I also mean in a physical, like creation sense of things, we create the universe as we see it.
I got
Like
it.
like in a way of like filling out the map.
Interesting.
Yeah,
You know,
like nothing's there until it's like nothing's
Until you
there
need
until
it.
we perceive it's there.
exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
And once it's perceived by someone who's already perceived it, say thousands of eons ago, it's now there for us to experience it. Right?
I see. So everyone makes their own imprint on what they believe is reality. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
All right, let's move around the table to Jeremy. The more interesting religious upbringings.
You mean a little bit of everything?
I mean,
Yeah,
almost
exactly.
literally.
Let's get it. We've already got a little bit of taste of Judaism and Taoism, so now give us a taste of the
Well,
pie, Jeremy.
I do the moonshine.
Or you see, we started Catholic because I come from a very Irish-based family. You know, last name being McNeil and all. It started with Catholic, and then as my mom started to find herself, she started to disagree more and more with it. I guess maybe not disagree, just find her own ideals didn't line up so much, maybe, and started to explore. And at first, we were taken to like she had a very Christian family that like was one of my best friends when I was in elementary school, and they would take me to Sunday school, which was really odd. Actually, we went to it was up in Beddington, so way before even the bus trap and like the southern communities or the northern communities like north of that were even like a thing.
Yep.
There was a church just up on that hill, and that's where we went to Sunday school with this family. That was like really good friends with my best friend Chase, who like was our neighbor for like 4 different moves. We'd move somewhere and they would move like a block away, or we'd move again and they were our
I grew
neighbors.
up not too far from that neighborhood.
That's creepy.
Yeah, it was funny. Well, his mom and my mom were old school best friends until like a falling out sometime in my teens, and then they stopped talking. And anyway, so we were going to Christian school, and I found the two religions to be basically the same. There's not a whole lot different.
Like Christian and
one
Catholic?
one is more guilty, like makes you definitely feel more guilty than another. And the other one is like I found one made you feel guilty, and in my own personal experience, because I was also very young, and the other one was very much pointing the finger at other religions and telling you how they were wrong. And
well, that's good.
then I stopped going to a church for a while, and my mom started to like explore. Right, she told me about how she went to one of those gospel churches. Everybody's standing and singing, and she said she had a great time, but wasn't really her thing. And then
My buddy Paul goes to those.
Yeah,
yeah.
I heard they're crazy. Like they're a great
I've
time.
always
Everybody's
wanted to go
very
to a full
spiritual.
gospel.
They're all about
they're
that.
very. Yeah, and I've been told they're very inclusive of other religions too.
They are. It's really cool, actually.
Yeah, that's what my mom was saying. And then she went to a Jewish Messianic Jewish church finally, and that's what we ended up going to for a while. But what was really cool is during that same time, my mom was seeing a guy, and he passed away in a chemical accident. So his daughter came and stayed with us for a while, and she was really good friends with some Wicca who would come over regularly. So I ended up having to talk with them about their religion. And that was really cool too. So in a way, it's like, and then through work, I work with a lot of Indians, like from India Indians, like
Good
real India
clarification
Indians. Right?
I feel
Well,
like I feel there's natives.
There's a term,
Indians.
right? There's natives and there's Indians. There's 2 different
Actually,
peoples, right?
Technically, the correct term is either Aboriginal or Indigenous.
No, First Nations.
No,
First Nations.
no,
I would
shockingly
feel
no.
I'd say Aboriginal would be the correct term.
Aboriginal?
Yeah.
That's the correct term. Indigenous is not. That's scientific.
We sound so horrible because none of us know the actual.
But I'd always say
No.
I'd always say natives.
I always say First
Because they were here first.
First Nations.
They were
is
here
considered
first.
an
They're
outdated
the
term
natives.
now.
Native Americans, Native Europeans. That they were there first, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's just change topic.
Yes.
So the man who raised me was Aboriginal, so that was the term I grew up with. Anyway, so I learned with a lot of different religions, and I kind of started to like accept pieces of each because each has like good lessons, if you know what I mean, right? Like the 10 Commandments are just
Yeah, definitely.
10 rules to not be an asshole.
I've said
Yeah.
that too.
Right?
Oh,
Pretty
Yeah,
much.
I kind of agree on that one. Yeah.
Right? Like I
Don't
might
get
not be
Don't-
Christian or Catholic, but the 10
No
Commandments
committing
are right.
adultery.
Don't murder.
Right?
Don't covet thy neighbor's wife. If you
Right? Don't sleep with your neighbor's wife. Don't
Yeah.
cheat
Don't
on
steal.
your wife.
Yeah.
Don't steal.
Right?
Don't lie.
That would be the
These are
best
great
11th
rules to not be
commandment.
an asshole.
That
I'm
was
like,
all-
These are rules to base around a society. That's
That
all
was
we
the
need.
third stone he dropped. It just said, "Don't be
So
a
I
general
can't-
douchebag."
I can't disagree with religions, but at the same time, there has been a lot of religious wars in the name of
Yeah.
stupid shit,
Yeah, there have
One-
and I can't agree with
A
that.
lot.
I mean,
throughout all of history.
That's hand
All
in hand with
relig-
racism.
All religions and big religions.
I mean, if we're gonna,
Oh
like,
yeah.
you
Oh
could
yeah.
just say some people just are just warmongers. Like, I mean, throughout history.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
legit.
Yeah, that's
Legit.
100%
They
too.
That's why
Yeah.
parts of Africa
lot.
will never be habitable because
Or
of
just sometimes
warlords.
killing people just need an
Yeah.
excuse to kill people all the time. And that's really
Warlords
what
are a
that means.
thing. That's a good point, Jeremy. Coney is still out there.
Mhm.
I
Good job,
forgot about that
2012.
guy.
Good job.
2021.
No, it was the 2012 that made him famous. All of a
Yeah,
sudden,
Yeah,
I
well,
remember
he
that.
became
No,
huge.
but John, do you see 2012, 2021? They're the same numbers.
We
Huh.
just had it backwards.
Don't you mean 2121 or 2021 1 2?
You mean the Mayans fucked up?
No, no,
Okay.
2021 and
I think John
2012.
is losing his mind.
Yeah.
A little
So.
bit. Sorry, I fucked up there. I'm not good at math. Sarah's.
It wasn't math. It was just like
You know
two
what?
numbers
It was
different.
math.
Numbers, yeah.
It was just 12
It
and
really
21.
was math.
It was not math.
I mean,
It was.
two
It was
different
math in
numbers.
John's head.
There was no math
I don't
involved.
know why. I
That's
just
sort
thought
of math.
There was 1212. I don't know.
Okay. Anyways,
John,
Jeremy.
I know that lifetime's probably been a very long time from now, John. It's okay.
You know what?
I'm being honest, okay?
I mean,
I'm being honest.
that's pretty much my view, right? Like, I don't know. I'm very interested by religions, so I can't say I'm really fascinated by a single one. I think they're all really cool, and they all have great legends and tales and great lessons to be learned and rules to live by.
So
I mean, some of them have their negatives as well, right? So I can't really agree with a single. I don't really hold to a
They
single
help
one.
build a fundamental society.
And in some cases, some people are just fighting over the name of a dude.
Yeah, a lot of the time.
Absolutely, all the time.
Or which dude they think is better.
All right.
Well,
so,
that's the thing is if you look at the legends and the tales and the lore,
It's the same.
they're generally the same person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that might be.
Unless,
Hmm.
right,
John,
like
I like John.
right, like I said, I have only dabbled in a whole bunch. I haven't gotten in deeper,
There's
so
a
I
good.
can't really say I hold to anything.
No, you're pretty on point from what I'm more. Not 100%, pretty on point for.
I'm not
most
gonna
of
say I'm an expert on every religion, but I definitely am well acquainted with at least the three main ones.
them.
Muhammad is not.
Tell me about the
religious.
three main ones, John.
Well, let's
Make sure you're
You're
not
talking
leaving
about
others.
Abraham.
Make sure you don't leave any of the other ones feeling singled out here.
let's
Three main
Sarah.
ones.
So
let's change topic here.
let's deflect this.
That
to
might be a
Sarah.
bit touchy, yeah.
All right, Sarah.
Okay, John,
All
let's not answer
right.
this question.
Yeah. So I grew up very Christian, and I would still call myself very Christian. My faith really is the center of my life. It's the most important thing to me. Yeah, I volunteer with my church. I teach Sunday school. I lead a youth group. I, for the past couple years, worked at a Christian school, though I sort of hated that. I went to Christian schools growing up. It's a very much a part of my life, and it's something that's very important to me. But I also recognize and understand that parts of Christianity seem crazy to other people. and I can understand why. And I also think that a lot of Christians have treated a lot of people badly in the past, and I really hope not to be like that. I try not to be a crazy Christian because there are a lot of those out there.
So you are not a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant.
I am a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant.
This is where a bunch of gasps come from the entire room. You admit it.
Yes, I admit it. I am proud of it.
So, I've had a few people tell me about their Christian upbringings, and sometimes it's just regular normal childhood, and sometimes it's a bit more enthusiastic. No, that's a horrible word.
Enthusiastic.
More rigid.
So-
It seems to be more rigid. I mean, especially growing up in
Okay,
the
yeah.
Jewish community, I knew some Orthodox kids, and those poor kids actually had to wear. I mean, they love it, like the little curly things. But I mean,
The little girlies.
I forget what they're called, and I'm gonna be absolutely space slapped for this. I should know. It starts with the. No, I'm not even gonna try because I don't want to butcher it. But I do know. Anyway, but like, I just like even if I was like super orthodox, I would at least let my kid tell me they want to wear it. You know what I mean? I would give them the
Yeah.
option. I would show it to them and would say, "Hey, like this is how this works. It's you're a kid, and I still expect you to follow our how kosher our house is and stuff. But like, you know what I mean? I just don't feel like a
Yeah,
kid
I
knows
do.
the full ramifications. But that's just a sidetrack. Let's go back to you. Sarah. Tell me about you.
So I became a Christian when I was 3. A lot of people when they get older will say how like, yeah, they prayed with their parents when they were really little but they never really sunk in and they never really made it their own faith until they were older. But that wasn't true for me. I really I understood what I was talking about when I was very young, and it meant a lot to me when I was very young. So I don't that just your talk about the curly things and that made me think of that. It was always something that was very real to me and never something that I had a problem with. I never wanted to have something else in my life. Other than that, I don't really know what to say. Like this has just been my life. It's 100% normal to me. The weirdest thing probably was that the schools that I went to didn't do sex ed, which was a problem. I know there's a lot of talk of people being like schools do abstinence only sex ed, where they say the only effective birth control is abstinence, but my school didn't even do that. They just kind of ignored the whole topic.
So
So
how many,
a lot.
That's always-
How many people got pregnant? About a quarter.
What's a quarter? What's the school? What's the sample size?
So it was a very small school, that one. I went to one school from grades 1 to 10, and then grade 10 was a really terrible toxic year, and I switched to a different school for 11 and 12, which was awesome. But that first school, it was very small. The high school averaged probably around 50 kids, grades 9 to 12. Maybe like 60.
would be like what, like 15, 16 girls?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, sometimes it was couples.
That's actually yeah. Wow.
Yeah, it's not a whole lot.
It was a lot. Yeah.
A little bit, right?
So, anyways, now I am in education and I am a huge proponent of like good sex education. So,
Would you be
there's
do
that.
it? Or would you do it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Actually, that would be the funniest class. Because I could see you
Probably.
be nervous at first.
Oh, no, I wouldn't be nervous.
Just do the first thing when you sit in the class of girls. Just pull out a dildo and pull out a condom. Be like, this is how it goes on. First thing.
I mean, I would, but I'm pretty sure that that's not legal.
But what are they gonna do?
That's
I
definitely
would maybe bring a
taking
banana
schools
or a
too far.
cucumber.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I had to deal with in my school.
Yeah, I never did that, so
They had a banana.
Oh, hilarious.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen The Meaning of Life?
Be chill, Gerald.
No.
Don't you shoot everybody.
Oh, there's a scene in The Meaning of Life where they do teaching sex ed, and I wish you had seen it because I'm not going to color it here. But do yourself a favor and watch it. It's goddamn hilarious.
Okay.
Monty
Okay,
Python.
I will. I will. I was gonna say something else. What was that? Oh, something that I
It's
think
too
is
late.
really
It's
important
too
is
late.
that like
Too late.
I live a life that I'm really happy with. I'm happy with my life. I'm happy with how things go. I'm happy with what I do and what I don't do. There's nothing that I don't do because it's against my religion. There's stuff that I don't do because I don't want to, like drugs or lots of drinking, but I'm just not interested in it. So,
Man, if there was a poster
I mean, I'm
and
a
they
happy
needed a
person.
child, you'd do well.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, see what you did there.
Honestly though, like I'm happy the way I am. I I recognize that not everyone else makes the same choices as me, and that's fine. I In the end, I would love for everyone to believe the same thing as me because I truly believe that when I die, I am going to paradise, to spend the rest of eternity in paradise with my God. And I want that for everyone. But I understand that not everyone is going to believe the same things as me, and that's fine. Everyone has the option to make that choice.
So, just because we're on that subject, do you fully believe that an angel rose up in rebellion against God and was cast down into hell?
I can
Yep.
see that on another planet, personally.
Really?
Yes, I do. Yep.
What enforces that belief? Like, I'm not trying to joke or anything. I'm actually curious because that's always been one of the hardest things for me. Because I'll frame it better. I've always believed that if God is truly omnipotent and omniscient, and He knew that Lucifer is real, He knew that he was going to rebel, which means he was created for said purpose, which means it was
A
all
plan.
an act, or it was all like, you know what I mean? Like in Judaism, we have an angel called Samael, who is often considered he's mistaken as Lucifer, but he basically guards what essentially we call the abyss, if I'm not mistaken, and
Okay.
he's just the angel of God. He's also the angel of death. So that's where it gets hard for me because then I hear about these stories, and it just it you know what I mean? I see a
Yeah.
break in logic and I don't know how to mend it.
Yeah, I know what you mean, and it's something that I also question regularly. I mean, I believe it, but I also don't necessarily understand everything, and I
If I may add a theory, or at least
yeah,
my kind of thought on that kind of story, or those kind of stories, is I see those as like early civilizations stories of telling of either civilizations that might have fell before our recorded knowledge, or maybe other species that might have had come to this planet and have created a story that they only heard about from secondhand, from another falling of another planet,
that's an
perhaps.
interesting idea. Yeah,
I'm not 100% sure. That's just a thought I have.
yeah. So there's this big debate in Christianity about this thing called predestination, which is basically what you're talking about, but kind of the more earthly realm of what you're talking about, John, where the idea behind predestination is that God knows who will and who won't accept him and who will and who won't end up in heaven. And so, therefore, the people who will are predestined to follow him and they will follow him no matter what. Um, and it's a topic that a lot of people disagree on. There's a huge, huge amount of debate about it. Um, and I am so far from being an expert on it. It's really truly one of the hardest things for me to understand and to wrap my head around. Um, yeah. My personal thought is that just because, oh, how do I say this? Just because God knows how things are going to work out doesn't mean that he specifically chose for them to work out that way. But I do agree that that seems That's one of the things that seems crazy.
See, and I like the idea of that concept because, like, in a way, there's so many other people in that area, right? Of things going on sometimes, or it could be a multiple person kind of situation. And when somebody is doing something at the same time, right, and somebody has that motivation to either have their own free extension of something, or they are possibly those people that you're talking about, it would add a lot of conflicting kind of space
Yeah,
and time.
yeah. The whole predestination debate kind of does away with free will, which I don't really like.
Yeah.
I
Well,
really do believe that God gave us free will to make our own choices.
see, and I think in a way the predestined could be in a way perhaps people who maybe if in the thought process maybe have shown like great spirit beforehand or something. It's not so much like it's something that would be probably a pre-life choosing that you wouldn't have knowledge of in a sorts, and it would require perhaps an evaluation of sorts or a criteria of a mental or emotional spirit,
Yeah,
right? And to be able to be counted on to follow not so much a plan, but follow your own heart and spirit true enough to not doubt yourself, because people are full of self doubt all the time and confidence issues, right?
yeah, definitely.
And to be like so motivated enough to constantly be like a ball of potential energy and destiny or something or greatness and to be able to be that person all the time, that's a lot, right? You have to be able to be someone who's definitely counted dependable in many different ways. Maybe some people aren't physically up to that.
And I've often had that thought too, that maybe all faith is just it's all bleeding from the same heart, and it's just about not not essentially just saying have faith, but essentially just ways to deal with what life throws at you and have confidence where you normally wouldn't, which most people use faith for.
That's what I find too.
That's true.
To bring, I find it's to motivate people that don't have
I think
certain motivations.
no matter what, it certainly is a very powerful social construct.
Very true.
Um, yeah, I mean, it's permeated through life through different facets of. I can't
Yeah.
think, although I can't think of a single society when I've been study as I when I was studying history for political science. I can't think of a single society that didn't have religion.
I'm pretty sure there isn't any.
I wouldn't go that far because you never know.
Well, people are always seeking meaning to their life.
People always, yeah, are
Yeah.
struggling to understand
And
things that they aren't fully aware of, right? It's human nature to unveil secrets, curiosities, things we're not aware of, and research
I
or
guess, and
knowledge.
build stories around it that become religion.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
yeah.
I got it.
Anyways, I think one thing that's important to me personally is earlier Jeremy was mentioning Catholicism and Christianity and was saying that he didn't see a huge difference between the two. I think when you actually look into them closely, there is quite a difference. They really are two separate religions. They kind of have the same basis, but they're quite different in practice and in beliefs.
I mean, Jesus did steal Passover from us.
That is true. But
Happy Easter, John.
and and let's not forget Christmas.
Oh yeah, yeah. But I don't think there's old Roman. What was that? What was that religion actually called?
It was a. Oh, I
Saturnalia.
Yes,
well, that was the day.
Saturnalia was
That
the
it was part
celebration.
of a Celtic, or it was an Irish or Scottish religion that celebrated
Irish,
Christmas.
yeah.
Yeah, and
It was the Yule. The Yule is the time of the Yule and Saturnalia.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's actually
That's
the reason my family doesn't celebrate Christmas.
and they moved it together.
really.
So yeah, it's
Yeah, that's the thing that gets to me so much when people are like Xmas, it's taking away the meaning of Christmas, or like
Man,
all the
that has been so
controversy
gone for
over the
years.
stupid the
Why?
controversy over the
That's so
stupid
cool.
Starbucks cups.
You guys
I just
get
look at it and go like,
diehard,
you know, this
and then
this
you
whole
turn
thing was
Christmas
stolen.
into like a fucking X-Man. I'm jealous. Can't do Xuna. It doesn't sound very good.
But it just makes me laugh so much when people are complaining about like Christmas is being de-Christianized, and I'm like, that's because that's how it started, people.
Yeah, it wasn't very
Come on.
very well at the start, to be honest.
So, yeah.
Goddamn white people taking over people's religions and their land.
See, it's
Yeah.
it's called mutual adaptation and cultural appropriation.
Mutual adaptation.
Mutual. Hi, Andrew.
Oh, there's a phrase of the week.
Yeah, I know you can't see me, John, but I have a really big shit-eating grin around my face right
I hope so. All right. Does anyone else have anything to input, or we'll move on to first tattoos?
I don't think so.
Ragnarok
Love
is
each other.
coming.
And on that note,
All right. Well, I say love each other, so there we go.
so I talk
We
about
will
first
join the
tattoos
Valhalla.
is mostly just calling out Sarah and me. And I guess, do you have a tattoo, Andrew?
Do I have
Are you
any
kidding? Are you kidding?
I know that was a joke. Thank you.
Really?
'Cause I just got my first two this summer.
I have a few.
A few, right?
This one,
Have
and this
some
one.
plans.
And
Right.
Sarah is getting her
Is your
first one
sleeve
tomorrow.
done yet?
No, it's so expensive.
But I guess Andrew will talk first since he can't stop
John,
talking about all his tattoos.
John, no, I'm not. I'm getting my second one tomorrow. I've had a tattoo for 6 years, man.
Never mind.
See, what does John know about anybody who has
Why?
tattoos?
Well,
I'm
Sarah,
the only one
you
without.
seem
I have no
flattered
tattoos.
that I don't look at your body in such a way that I would notice it that way.
John, I wish
It's
you
on
would.
my shoulder, so it's usually covered.
There you go. Well,
I mean, you'd only have to look at Andrew for maybe
But
5
wait,
seconds to
wait,
be like,
no.
oh, hey, look.
Stop.
You just gotta shake
John,
my hand. That's all you really need to do.
I
Right.
think every single
Usually you wear
dress I own
t-shirts.
that I have ever worn
Even
to
then,
a
I
ball
roll
or
them
a
up.
Burns night shows it.
If I wear like a log sleeve.
I guess I just never noticed. No.
Yeah, no,
Andrew,
every
send him a
single
picture
dress
of
that
your
I have
arm.
worn that you have seen me in shows it.
Because he's...
So you have 100%
That's so bad.
seen it.
I don't know my phone is right now.
Yes.
John, do you not remember my sleeve at all?
No, I do. That was a joke. Jesus.
Oh, okay.
We're
He
not
just
on
doesn't
topic.
remember
I was
mine.
like, so
Dude,
bad.
really?
That's why it's a topic. Now go.
That's why it's a topic. Like I planned for this.
I
Okay.
even said when you got your first tattoo, you were like, I finally got one. And I was like, I got one when I was 20, and you got one when you were 30. So I got mine like 10 years before you.
I think I just blocked it from my mind. 'Cause
You must have.
I must have. Because
Reality doesn't exist unless John is there to physically create it.
I mean...
He was there.
But he
We
didn't
were
know. But he
talking.
didn't know.
living in my box.
It was a
His mind wasn't there.
conversation. We were playing D&D.
Yeah, see, that's why his mind was split between two other realities at that
Thank
time.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway. So, Andrew, tell us about your first tattoo.
My first tattoo was based on a belief of myself for a while, in along with the lines of different things. It's not really like religious in a sort, but growing up, I've kind of got along with like when I learned about Buddhism and stuff and Taoism, it does talk about the parts of life of reincarnation, and it's something that I've very much kind of put a lot of my mental thought processings into. And the tattoo that I got talks about how when through the parts of different reincarnation, we experience all walks of life throughout the world. Sometimes you might be a fish. Sometimes you might be a fucking fly. You might be a snake. You might the chances and the odds of being a person on this planet are pretty fucking rare. And the idea is that when you've reincarnated as one of these previous creatures, you retain some kind of characteristics of their everyday like lives. So, like, say if you were,
So what were you?
I one of the ones that I remember was like a wolf or like a canine or like a dog. It's
I
hard to
see
tell.
you as a poodle, maybe a chihuahua.
I mean,
John.
really, I don't talk that much. I feel like a chihuahua talks a lot. But
Wow.
I didn't. My first tattoo was a symbol of what people have talked about to be what a community of people who related to this and came to this kind of like discovery. They made a symbol that a number of them kind of agreed on like a different like kind of like forums page. And it's been a big like a symbol that a lot of the communities kind of use on like Facebook and things like that and different pages. So I got that symbol kind of tattooed, but it's essentially it's two Greek or two Romans letters, the theta symbol and the delta symbol, and they're just layered on top of each other more or less.
That's kind of sick.
I have that one in like
That's cool.
the middle of my forearm.
So tell me about the experience when you went to the tattoo parlor.
My experience was kind of boring. I went there with like what I had in mind. I had worked on a couple of different ones, but the one that I had came up with that like I had a more detailed kind of picture in mind. But it would the size that I wanted wasn't gonna work out well. The details were muddy, so I went with a little more of a simpler, straight up design with just the straight symbols. And yeah, I went to this kind of like side kind of like tattoo place in like not too far from Arboro, like mall, but like off in like the neighborhood kind of areas. And it was like this Asian guy. I think he might have been Filipino, but he was a really cool guy. Um, I came in and they just kind of sat and talked with me. I was hoping my dad was going to come and kind of like chill out and talk to me, like, because I didn't really know if it was going to really be that painful or not. I didn't think it was going to be that painful. Um, and my dad's like, "Oh no, I'm doing something else. Have fun. See you later." And I just got to sit in the tattoo place alone while this dude worked on my arm. And I don't know, it's kind of boring. I didn't really feel that painful for the first time. And after that, um, my next one
I had a
was actually sorry.
I was gonna say I had a very similar experience. I
Oh,
went with
really?
a buddy of
Yeah, me
mine,
too.
and we were gonna get the same tattoo, which was the brand of sacrifice on this side, and it was really quick, and it didn't hurt at all. Like it was just super quick and painless. My buddy went away for a bit, and then came back and got his, and yeah, it was boring and it was painless. But the second one, like the bigger one, man, that sucked. And it sucked more because my tattoo artist put on this show I'd never seen before called Norseman. And if you haven't seen it, it's dry humor and it's so funny. Oh, and I was laughing so hard that it actually hurt my chest where he was working. I'm like, you gotta turn this off,
Oh yeah.
man. I'd rather sit here and take the pain than have to laugh and feel like you're stabbing my chest.
Oh
That's too
no.
funny. Yeah, I've just had my arms so far. I planned for a lot more, but my one I've tried to do. I wanted to do a sleeve, but I didn't like the idea of having it like half filled in or just seeing the outline, and I wasn't sure what I wanted yet, and like on all the pieces. So I figured like I would understand and know what I want as time would go on. So I've just kind of did one piece at a time to fill in my sleeve, and I've planned out like how I want to fill it in to complete it at the end. But like I got the second one was a scorpion on my forearm. I got was kind of related to my brother. He feels like in a way like a scorpion characteristically. So I got animals that kind of were around that symbol to kind of represent them. I'm trying to get them that represent my family in a way. And then later I got a wolf on the other side of it, kind of like as like a coat of arms kind of symbol. So the scorpion's like on one side going down, and the wolf's on the opposite side going up. And then after that, I don't remember which one I got. I think. Oh, I got an Assassin's Creed tattoo on my elbow because I figured the elbow's what it was gonna be a weird one to do. So I was like, I want to get something put there now and go around the elbow instead of having to deal like with tattooing over it and all that shenanigans. And if it was gonna be a pain in the ass, I didn't know. So I was like, oh, the Assassin's Creed symbol has that little space in the middle. So I was like, I can put my elbow in there, essentially. And the fucking tattoo artist fucked it up, and the they put it off to the like a bit off to the right, so it's like my elbow's half in the fucking circle whenever I bend it. But once I finish the sleeve, it's not really gonna notice that much,
Oh.
anyways.
Alright.
Plus, I can't tell because it's on the back end of my arm, so I can't really fully see all of it.
Just say it's a cool tribal tattoo that you got.
I mean, it kind of is. It's all, I'm trying to do it all tribal sorts. Later on, I heard that this place was doing like a sale for flash art down by Chinook Mall. I think it was like something Rose, Black Rose or something. I don't know. So I brought in. I wanted to get the elemental symbols, so I got fire and water just underneath my other symbol that
Oh,
I had.
cool.
I found a couple of different designs that I had in mind, and I created like a different kind of like symbol flash for it, so I could just print it off and run it over there with my own little flash art that I created. Later on, I wanted another gamer tattoo, so I got essentially my gamer tag. I took the in Skyrim and Elder Scrolls in the that game, the lore, they have creatures that come from like some weird different like almost like half demon god like things, but some of them aren't. They're like some of them are like gods of badness or like gods of like creations and things. Some are gods of knowledge. One's like an eldritch one that's like fucking Cthulhu. But they all have different creations, but they have a language that they all use. So I took that language and put my gamer tag. Essentially, I put Insanieac on my arm, and I had a couple of different symbols to separate in between. Like I put the Thieves Guild symbol for like a sanctuary in between as like a separator.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got on the top of my hand, I have the Oblivion like door symbol, which is pretty much O. And then I got the Elder Scrolls like Triskalia with the three alliances, the dragon, the eagle, and the lion, kind of like chasing each other. And then I got Skyrim. I got the dragon writing above that. I got Fusrada in like the dragon tongue, just above the circle, to kind of tie in like those three games more or less.
That's cool.
All right, Sarah, tell us about your first tattoo and the one you're getting tomorrow.
My first tattoo I got 6 years ago. I am pretty sure it was June 6th, 2014.
That's pretty exact.
I went with
Surprised?
yes. My memory works like that. It's very weird. I remember exact things regularly.
3 days
No,
later, I
I
had a paper cut.
I remember exact dates really, really well. I have a frightening memory, but a terrible working memory, so I forget to do things all the time. Very annoying. Anyways, I went with my husband and an old friend of ours. We all went together to get tattoos. And they're all different. So it's called a triquetra. It's a Celtic knot. It's like three loops all made out of one strand. It symbolizes quite a few things, but the reason I chose it was because it was actually on a piece of a necklace. It was on a necklace that my husband gave me as a wedding present, a triquetra. And yeah, it was really meaningful to me, and it was something that I could kind of put there as like a nod to him, but also not necessarily like his name or anything weird like that. So it was sweet. I like it. He's got this cool, it looks like it's burnt into his arm almost. It's on his upper arm. And it's written in runes. It says walk every road. And then our other friend got passage from the Lord of the Rings, not all who wander are lost, written in Elvish on her forearm. Yeah, it was a fun time. It was a little crazy because my husband actually locked himself out of his car in Calgary, and I had to go rescue him while our friend got tattooed. and he wasn't there for mine. It was quite the day, but it didn't hurt that much. Like I said, it was on my shoulder. I think that's just not a bad place for pain anyways. Took
Yeah.
probably like an hour and a half.
I would have fallen asleep.
I almost did, honestly. It just sort of felt like someone was pinching me. And then when it was healing, it just felt like a sunburn healing.
Yeah.
So it really, really, really wasn't bad. I didn't mind at all. What else is there to say? I don't know. It was fun. I enjoyed it. I always wanted to get another one. I've been putting it off because my grandma is an old religious woman who is scandalized at the idea of tattoos, and I thought she didn't know about it, but it turns out
That's my
that she
grandma.
did. Yeah, turns out she did. My mom told her years ago, but I think she forgot. But now my brother has moved in with his girlfriend, and that's way worse in grandma world than tattoos. So I'm getting another one tomorrow. Yeah.
What is it?
So
Can I add like a story on that for what you said with this grandma's like not knowing
Yeah.
about tattoos?
Yeah.
My dad, he's got like 2 shoulder tattoos and like a kind of like upper like mid kind of forearm tattoo. And when my grandpa passed away, he had to go to they went to his funeral, but it was the middle of the summer, and like he's wearing a suit in the sun in the cemetery, and he's just
That's funny.
sweating his ass off. And my grandma's just like, "Oh, son, take off your coat. You got it no way too hot over there." Like, and my dad's like, "No, I'm fine. Like, that's I'm good. Like, it's all right. It's not that bad." While he's like literally so he's like pit stains. Like,
Oh,
yeah. So, because he knew if he took his coat off, his mom's gonna beat his ass right in front
Yeah.
of fucking
Yeah.
the cemetery group
oh.
at his dad's funeral. Like,
That's
that'll be a
funny.
real family relation right there.
That's
Perfect.
so funny. Time for
Yeah.
another funeral.
Yeah.
Can't say my mom's too happy about my tattoos or my dad.
Yeah, no.
But
My
my older sister
my
did it
parents aren't
first,
either.
so I just followed her. I was like, she did it first, man.
Can't get mad at me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, my brother's living with his girlfriend, and that's way worse in my parents' books, so I'm good now.
I like how we're all
It definitely
adults,
was
and we're
hard
all
at first.
we're all like in our like I'm 30 and I'm still worried about what my parents think about what I
See
do
my
with my
see
body.
my parents think it's okay that I got tattoos. My dad used to like give me a hard
Mine
time about
don't.
having unnatural hair color. He's like, if you come home with like neon hair, I'm putting you down and shaving your head.
That's funny.
I'm like, all right, Dad.
I had purple hair over the summer, and they were
No, I
actually
don't care.
pretty supportive of it. So,
Yeah, my dad's grown to accept that I've dyed my hair every once in a while.
anyways, the tattoo I'm getting tomorrow is the alphabet. Yes, yes, it's going to be very interesting.
I have questions.
You don't just say that and then leave it off. I'm getting the alphabet.
Yeah, I have
This
questions.
question is because
Well,
Why and yeah, because
are you ready? Are you ready to learn something about me? I'm pretty sure you don't know, John.
yes, I am.
Okay, well,
My body's
this
ready.
this part isn't
I feel
the
like I might be shocked by the things you might say at this moment.
this isn't the surprising part, but I'm a huge language nerd. I love language. I love words. I love linguistics. I studied a whole bunch of linguistics in university. The part that might surprise you, John, is that in my spare time I write books.
That does. I think you've told me that before, actually.
I have not told you that before, and I have very intentionally not told you that before.
Really?
Yeah. Jan might have told you, but I have not.
Maybe. I thought I knew. Okay. Let's say I didn't, and then find this out. Okay. What do you write?
That's okay. Mostly fantasy.
Like high
Do you-
fantasy?
Yeah, man. Do you remember when you came to our house for Jan's birthday? There was a huge map hanging in my room?
Yes.
Yeah, that's my world. I write books set in there.
Did I ever tell you about my fantasy story that I wanted to write?
I don't think so, but let's have a podcast that's just about fantasy stories, man.
I'm not against that.
We can do that.
Yeah, let's do it. I'll even come to your house and be like your guest for it. I can
That
bring
would
my
be
map with me.
awesome. What?
Yeah.
Oh, we could talk about our favorite fantasy stories. Oh, I'm getting
Yeah.
I'm down for that tattoo.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
let's do it.
All right.
So, yeah, so I'm getting, it's a monogram of the alphabet. So it's sort of all the letters congealed into a couple of squares and circles. If you Google it, you can find it. It looks really cool, and I'm super excited to have it on my body forever.
That's cool.
Just gotta answer me one question. Jesus
What?
imagery, yes or no?
In a tattoo or in this tattoo?
In the books.
In the world.
God, not so much Jesus. Like a creator.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Jeremy, no one want for tattoos?
I've thought of, I don't know.
What's been the
Well-
biggest?
We'll pierce his virgin skin one day if he doesn't.
Oh, that's scary.
What put me off was I never took the time to go do it. I had the
Pretty-
two ideas in my head for years since I was like 18, and like I just never went and did it. And then my buddy kind of pushed me into it, which was awesome because I finally got them done. But have you ever actually wanted one? Like, it's okay to say no.
I've actually thought of one. Yeah. There's actually two, actually, and which is funny because one has like a slightly religious connotation.
Really? What is it?
So my dad passed away, and I was thinking about getting a back tattoo in memorial of my dad. In the traditional like Jesus on the cross position, but instead, it would have raven wings and long black hair.
Interesting.
In honor of my dad and his native heritage.
That's really cool. That's definitely something that a lot of people would ask questions about.
That's kind of awesome.
And the other one was a possible chest tattoo of a kitten sitting on a stool, looking into a mirror and seeing a lion.
That'd be cool.
Oh, that would be cute. So cute. A
That'd be
little
really
kitty
cool.
cat.
Awesome.
To represent, I'm a Leo and I'm always like kind of young at heart. Like I'm a big child.
Oh, that would be really sweet.
I just never gone around to go do them.
You should
I
do
get
it.
that feeling. Well,
The funny thing is, you recommended your tattoo artist to me, John. The place where I got my first tattoo done is actually literally like a block and a half away from my house, and I was just gonna go there. So hopefully this guy's good because I gotta drive all the way downtown for it.
did he
But I'll
send
be at your
you,
house tomorrow, so it won't be bad.
Did he send you what it looks like?
I already know what it looks like, right? I gave him a picture.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
awesome. He's quite nice too.
That's good. Yeah, he
You-
seems it. So
You've met him, right?
yeah, I met him yesterday. He
He's-
seems like a nice guy.
He really is. He's awesome.
Awesome. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm very excited. I've been waiting to do this for 6 years, so.
That's dope.
Anything else to add, Andrew?
I mean, do you want to hear about like plans, like next tattoos? Because like I said, I'm working on a sleeve and I haven't finished it yet.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Totally.
yes. I want the Fibonacci sequence next.
So that the next kind of tattoo I'm hoping to kind of go on to kind of like round it out to make like a ending point, to fill in between. I'm gonna get a predator skull from like Alien vs Predator, but like a skull, like completely decayed and like. But inside of the eyes, I was going to get the other elements. The other ones I was missing, earth and air. But I was going to try to make it seem kind of like they're like crystals of sorts, or like gems, and the symbol is like within it, like kind of like I don't know if you guys saw like the fucking Pokemon movie, the original one, where they had like the stone of lightning and the stone of ice.
Yes, I totally.
Yeah.
Dude, I went to the theater to see that shit.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
That's kind of fucking cool. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
That sounds really cool.
And then I was gonna have like at the end finish it. I was gonna have like the mouth kind of go down towards the bottom of my to like the middle of my shoulder of sorts, or like to my middle forearm. And at the end, I was gonna have it once all the designs are done. I was gonna have the mouth exhale kind of smoke, and I was gonna have smoke kind of go around the symbols I have, but it was gonna go through the animals that I have on my arm. But I was gonna get the outlines detailed, so that way the outline kind you can you can feel it through, like if you were to rub like where the animals would feel, you could feel the outline essentially. So you can still like, even though they're not so easily seen, you can still they're there and you can feel them, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then yeah, the symbols are gonna they're gonna be popped out from the smoke, but everything
Oh,
else is
cool.
kind of woven into it. Cause I have like the other elemental symbols on my arm, and then I was gonna get the right now I don't have any colors on those symbols. I was gonna also get like a bit of like a gem kind of like hue light over them to make it look like they're like stones, like actually in my arm of sorts.
You should get Jan to send you a picture of his. It sounds sort of like his looks more like dirt than smoke, but it sounds like sort of the same idea.
Oh, okay.
You're also over in Ontario. You could always go down to Toronto. There's so many good artists down there.
Yeah, I've heard. I've heard in Montreal there's quite a few as well.
Yeah. I've heard some great things about Montreal.
Yeah, it's an interesting place.
But yeah. It's okay. Let's move on to the meat now. I'll just go out and say it. I think Marvel Comics, the comics, since like 2005 have been shit. Utter crap.
I haven't seen too many of the Marvel comics.
Yeah, I just see movies.
But I've always been a DC fan.
I've been more of a DC fan than like for comics than Marvel. I think.
What are your thoughts, Jeremy?
See, I'm that guy. I'm like 50-50. Depends on what you're talking about. So for comics, I'd probably say DC is better.
Yeah.
Their animated movies are also really good. I find the Marvel's animated series have been just crap.
Yeah, their shows have been like I grew up.
I mean, they're no X-Men or the Amazing
But
Spider-Man.
the vice versa, however, is all the DC live action stuff is terrible, and all of the Marvel live action stuff is really good.
I mostly agree with you for those, except Shazam, I think, is my favorite superhero movie.
You
I
like
love
that?
that movie.
Pretty good.
I
You liked
love
it?
that
I
movie.
hated that.
What?
I was blown away by the ending. I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me.
I love it
It's
so
the Shazam
much.
kids.
It's so good. But
Oh,
also,
dude.
it probably
They
helps that
shouldn't even.
I
They shouldn't
really
have
want to
gone
be a
into the
foster
Shazam
parent.
kids.
They shouldn't even have gone. Yeah, and like
That
it
was
honestly,
pretty quick.
and it immediately made me think of like the DC like the fucking Flashpoint one where the Shazam kids were a thing, and then they get brutally murdered by fucking Wonder Woman at the end. And I'm like, oh god,
That's
man, this is gonna
horrible.
happen to this family now. Eventually, because that it looks like that's what they're leading into that timeline. Like, oh god.
Oh, well, that would be awful, but I really, really enjoyed it.
Do you think they'll do the Flashpoint paradox?
I would love to see that actually
Of
as
course
like
they will. That's like one of the most interesting storylines because
It
they can
really
write
is.
everything and then use Flashpoint to rewrite all the bad stuff.
and then you get to see Killer Batman Dad,
I
and
mean,
that everyone wants to see Bat Dad.
one of my favorite DC storylines was Batman on the Infinity Chair or on the
the Mobius.
the Metatron
Yeah.
chair. That was actually, and that was the they in the comics.
Yeah. They did that a little bit on the movie. The
Yeah, but they did.
That's
justice.
also the 3 Joker universe.
That's
yeah, because that's how he learns about them.
That's every universe. That's the point.
Well, that didn't come around till the New 52. After
Yeah.
Flash broke the universe, there was only
Really?
Like yeah, there was only the one.
I love the Batman Who Laughs. It's one of my favorite new
I
characters.
love that too. I've become so actually enthralled with the Batman Who Laughs.
Oh, it's so good. It's such.
There's apparently like a whole like dark thing where he like versus like other fucking like people. Like I watched like a YouTube kind of like video to catch up on it, and like holy fuck, it's fucking awesome, dude. Like he enthralls like apparently like the Batman with like apparently a fucking a Green Lantern ring, and he's like he's pretty much like turned everyone like pretty much took out his like half his planet, and he's pretty much become like Sinestro. It's spooky.
The whole DC Metal event that they did, the best character they pulled out of all that was the Batman Who Laughs. Such an
Definitely.
interesting character, and the background, like his background story, how he became that, is fucking amazing. I have that comic.
Oh, I
And
love
it's
that.
so
I love
good
it too.
that I actually bought that comic and it hangs up on my wall because it's such a good
I
comic.
I have the Death in the Family one. That was one of my favorites, where you get to see Joker like pretty much kidnap all of the Bat family, and he has like his face like cut off.
But on that note,
It's
Marvel has its
stapled back on.
Yeah, all belted back on with his like his pants belt,
Marvel.
and then he takes
Oh
it
yeah, that's
upside
right.
down, and then he like trips out like Damian Wayne with it, because he's like
Hmm.
has his face his eyes looking through his mouth hole, and you can see his teeth through where his eyes should be. It's creepy and gross.
But on
It's
that
graphic.
same note, because I have to defend Marvel, like the recent, oh, it wasn't so recent, like 4 or 5 years ago, they did a Captain America was part of Hydra. That was really
Yeah.
good, and
That
they
was pretty
did.
good.
That was
And
Captain Hydra. Yeah.
yeah, it was
That'd be cool.
one of my favorite new series. I mean, Deadpool kills the universe. Like,
Punisher kills the universe is pretty good too.
The Venom verse has been pretty interesting. Apparently, Doctor Strange has like a Venom symbiote, and he calls like all the other Venoms from different eras. And there's like a Rocket Raccoon Venom symbiote. There's a Groot symbiote. Um, there's a couple of different ones. There's like a Hulk one, and they call them all to like deal with some exterior threat. I think it might be Null or it might be Carnage. I don't quite remember. But now they're leading up to what I'm excited for is the King in Black. That is the one thing that I'm super hyped for Marvel. That no, the Venom's the God symbiote who created all of the symbiotes and killed the Celestial, um, whose head became Nowhere, the planet that a lot of like places and ended up hanging out at, and he's coming to fucking Earth after like Carnage was like his herald for like dealing like all this huge amounts of damage, and he let him borrow his dragon for a second. This symbiote dude has a fucking dragon and a sword that he just materializes out of his hand. It's crazy. I'm so excited for the King in Black.
okay, I honestly haven't even heard of that series. I've been so.
It's coming out this December.
And do you
It's
think?
gonna be so great.
Could you imagine if they did that in the Marvel universe, like the cinematic universe?
That would be awesome. He would be one of like
Wow.
the bigger threats because he's a Celestial. Well, he's one of the few Celestials that kills Celestials.
A celestial killing celestial. What a unique and completely new topic.
What a weird kind of. Oh wait, God of War. Is that you?
See, but that's what I mean. Like you would get used to get Marvel stories that were. I'm trying to think of some good ones. Civil War, the first Civil War, when that came out, like I think I was like 14 or 15. Like that blew my mind in terms of, and like they did not make it any good in the cinematic universe, and now people are never gonna read that awesome comic. Like, oh,
Yeah,
Civil War was honestly, it made me,
I heard it was a lot better than the movie.
oh, unbelievably.
I enjoyed the movie, but it also definitely felt like there could have been so much more done with the concept.
Yeah,
Like in Civil War, it was actually like a full Civil War. Like,
Yeah,
not
not
just
like
like a
one
handful
battle
of
in an
heroes
airport.
fighting each other. Yeah, it was actually
and
the whole
Planet
point of the
Hulk,
war.
another great early series that they kind of they just touched
They
on in
they
Ragnarok.
teased on. Yeah, that was weird.
But like in Planet Hulk, like he comes back with all those gladiators and takes
Uh-huh.
over the Earth.
Yeah,
It's
I remember that. And then he has his son.
or like what I liked about
think he has
Old Man
more than
Logan,
one.
which they can't do now, is in Old Man Logan he
I would love if they could convince Hugh Jackman to come back because he's older for Old Man Logan. That would
because
be great.
what happens is at the end of it his universe collapses and for some reason he gets pulled. Oh, I used to know the whole story.
I
But he gets
heard about
pulled
it. I haven't seen
to
it
the
though.
new universe, and in that first comic in the final universe, like where everything is really campy, three of his old villains come out and they're like, "Oh, we don't know how you're alive, but we're gonna attack," and he just murders them. Straight up murks him. And then there's like X-23 is there, and like he thinks he's in the past, but he doesn't realize he's in a new universe until he's told later. But the point is, he was like they couldn't kill him because he still had his healing factor. He was just and he was brutal. Like he was it was one of the it was like literally Marvel decided, what if we take one of our campy universes and take one of our like literally most bloodthirsty characters and just put them in there and see what happens, since Wolverine's
Yeah,
dead.
doesn't he kill like pretty much most of the people in that universe?
No, he does stop because he realizes when he's told that he's not from that universe and his universe is dead. So he kind of stops murdering the bad guys, but he
He
literally
becomes Jason
like
Todd.
he tries to kill the Hulk and
Doesn't he
Shank.
actually kill the Hulk in Old Man Logan? I thought he did.
Um,
I thought he actually killed the Hulk in that one, if I remember correctly.
I know he killed him in the original Old Man run, but I don't know if he killed him in the new universe.
I think in Old Man Logan, he like the Hulk tries to eat him, and then he like regenerates inside of him, and literally tears the
No,
Hulk
I
throat
mean
away.
like when he's in the new universe, when he gets teleported over. I don't think he actually successfully kills Bruce Banner or the Hulk.
I thought he did.
Maybe. I mean, Bruce Banner
My
isn't in the
favorite
Hulk.
way of how the Hulk dies was through the Punisher. Have you heard that one?
I don't think so. I think you talked about it a while back, but I don't
He
remember.
like slowly feeds him over time C4, and when he like packs him full of this C4, he lets Hulk kill Wolverine, and then right after killing Wolverine, he detonates the Hulk, which forces him to transform back
Ooh.
to like a dead Banner.
And then
Well, that
walks up and shoots him.
sucks.
And that's the Punisher Kills the Universe series.
Yeah, you've talked about that one a lot. I've never read it, but I should.
For me, it's interesting. I really like for DC. I like a lot of more of their villains than a lot more of their heroes. Except for like for me, one of my favorite heroes that he's kind of been in and out of a lot of things. Static Shock is
Yeah,
like
in
hands down my favorite hero.
in Justice League, one of my favorite DC shows. Like they have Static Shocks. They do Days of Future Past, which is one of my favorite.
They had a
episodes.
few in that one they had a
And
few like
the
cameos of them.
The one thing I love the most is not that they tied together the Superman and Batman original animated series together, and not that like Justice League and Justice League Unlimited was awesome. The very last episode of the first season of Justice League Unlimited, when it's the Flash that saves everyone, it was actually one of my favorite episodes. Actually, the Flash was one of my characters. I'm not a big Flash guy, but in that show, one of my favorite characters. I think it was Wally West was the Flash
Oh,
they were
okay.
using.
I said Static Shock.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
It just made me think of all the times I saw Static Shock in the animated universe.
Yeah.
And
Well, they've been doing more comics with them as of late. After the New 52, he's joined the Teen Titans, actually.
Ooh.
And he's been like with a lot of actually like newer younger superheroes have joined the Teen Titans. Like Damian Wayne joined the Titans, and like Superboy joined the Titans.
Oh, I knew about Damian Wayne. Have you seen the episode I'm talking about of a show called Justice League?
A show called Justice League or Justice League?
The show. It's an animated show.
I'm pretty sure I've seen it. The one that I like. I remember a couple of the ones. The one that was like kind of my favorite. I don't know if it was a Static or if it was a Batman one. But like Static goes into like the Batman Beyond universe or into like the future or whatever, and he gets to see like his older self, and he's like this dread looking like badass, and Batman at that timeline believes that he's like is their only hope for like a good hero,
Mm-hmm.
because every other hero has like different reasons and problems and things to why they're a hero, but Static Shock just does it because he wants to be helpful. He wants to do what he can to just do it to help other people with the things that he has.
They
He
have
doesn't want
that
to just
static in the show. Look up if you ever look up the show Justice League Days of Future Past, second episode. He's in the entire episode and it's old Static, but still, I think it's still the same voice actor. So
no.
yeah,
I mean, that was a while ago, so I could see it, right? The cartoon for Static, anyway, so his voice is probably a little bit older.
Yeah.
but yeah, I would
Wasn't
suggest.
that? I thought that was the DC Online universe too.
DC Online?
Yeah. Never mind. I'm trying to find it, but all I keep seeing is mashups of Justice League and X Men Future Past.
They pretty much stole the story.
I'm just trying
But
to find the episode.
Sony doesn't care. Sony just loves the money.
Oh, Justice League.
That's
Future
true for pretty much everything, though.
That Future Static actually looks a little different than the one in Batman Beyond.
Batman Beyond is insane.
He's got his coat in Future in the Batman Beyond. He loses his coat.
The very end of Justice League, the last episode, it has nothing to do with the show. It's older Terry. It's older Terry, and he finds out he's a clone of Batman. And he
Oh,
goes
yeah.
and finds
I remember
old
that.
Amanda Waller. It's like, because I watched Batman Beyond 2 and they didn't really end it, but then
Yeah.
I watched that. I'm like, oh my god, they've put in an end to Batman Beyond. I love you, Warner Brothers.
Did you see on that one, like on the note of like putting an end to the show, so that took a while. Did you see that they did that for like Samurai Jack? They added like that final season for Samurai Jack after 10
totally.
years
Dude, I was all over
of
that.
not like. I watched that on release. I was so excited. I was like, "Fuck yes, dude!"
And it was so good.
It was. There's a few things that were a little weird, but it was so good.
Yeah. Oh, I loved it. And then I'm watching the new Archer series, which has nothing to do with DC or anything, but God, I'm still laughing. Archer still makes me laugh.
I've never really got around to watching it, but I heard
you know what just aired
Oh, it's funny.
and just finished? The hour-long South Park episode.
Oh, really? I gotta watch that. I'm so excited to see that online.
Yeah, like, I completely agree. As soon as I'm done this, I'll probably force myself to stay awake another hour to watch it.
Oh, I probably will
Didn't
too.
you say you wanted to move this up because you work early tomorrow?
I know, but thank God I did it early because I'd be doing that at 2 o'clock.
John, go to sleep.
Ugh.
Self Park takes priority sometimes.
Sarah?
No.
Yes, it
When
does.
when did
No.
that air?
Sarah?
Go to sleep.
Today,
Oh, really?
yeah,
What,
We're talking
John?
Okay.
about something that raised
a
me as
pandemic
child.
episode.
I remember
Oh,
watching
really?
the first
That's
an
episode.
hour
okay. You
long.
can wait a day. Go to
Okay.
sleep.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. I'm excited. I gotta check that one out. I didn't know it aired today. I heard it was airing soon.
September
I mean, I'll
30th.
just probably watch it in the background while we play.
Oh, if it's gonna require
Is
my
it
full attention.
September 30th?
It is the
Today
30th.
is that
Whoa.
We gotta
It's a
wake up.
burst.
That's
Yeah, it'll be
scary.
a burst in an hour.
I
We gotta wake up Green Day
don't
tomorrow.
like this. What has happened to time?
Time is irrelevant, Sarah.
It's, hey,
It
this year
is.
has been a fun year. We'll see how it ends.
Time
Yeah,
is bad.
it's weird, man.
I mean,
Okay.
Armenia and Azerbaijan just went to war. That's fun.
Yay.
Oh no.
All right, well,
Maybe this is the year the world really does end.
On the note of also like Marvel and DC stuff and tattoos, because I kind of work at the same time, I was thinking of getting a tattoo based on like superheroes villains.
Ooh, that'd be
Um,
cool.
I was thinking of getting Carnage, like tearing out of my shoulder, and I was thinking of having like on my left shoulder, and I was thinking of lower down on my wrist. I was going to get like a royal flush, but I was going to have the Joker walking out of the Joker card, and then like like stepping towards the center, sort. So they're like kind of like looking to fight each other.
Which Joker?
That's cool.
What iteration? What
Probably
design?
the one from Death in the Family, Joe's Garage Joker, with his face cut off and the crowbar.
That's a good one. Have you read The Killing Joke?
I have, yeah. That one's alright.
Do you think he kills the Joker in the end?
No, Batman doesn't.
Neither do I. He's too awesome for that. If it was Thomas Wayne, oh, totally.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Even if
Yeah.
the Joker was his wife.
The other thought I had was also having Punisher in the center and having like guns trained on both of them.
No Deadpool? Not a big Deadpool
No,
fan?
Deadpool's alright. He's not my favorite though. I didn't know Deadpool
I
till
liked
later.
Deadpool before he was cool.
I didn't like Deadpool till after he was cool.
Well, that's my favorite.
Me too.
On that,
Because I didn't know he really existed until then.
it's like no one knows Six Pack, and if you don't know Six Pack,
I didn't
Go look
until
up
you
Six
probably
Pack.
talked about
You
him.
told me about Six Pack.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the audience. If you don't know Six Pack, go look at Six Pack.
Correct.
You're not looking at the audience.
I am now.
Yeah, looking back.
There we go.
Six
Now you
Pack.
are. Okay.
Best superhero ever. His power was he could reach anywhere and pull out a six pack.
I would say Spawn's probably the best superhero.
No, six pack. I mean,
Yeah, but Spawn can make his like coat into a six pack.
but six pack could just reach behind anything and pull out a six pack.
But so could Spawn.
I mean,
Because it's
So-
literally attached to his back.
but
So he reaches behind his back and he just pulls it out.
I don't think Spawn can materialize six packs. I don't think that was defined by Todd.
Are you
McFarlane
doubting?
in
doubting
his
powers?
set of powers? I think
Are you
you're,
doubting
I
the
think you're
powers of
reaching
God?
there.
No. Are you doubting the powers of God?
He's
Spawn
not,
is ascendant behind both of them.
he was made by Satan, so he doesn't even have close
Yeah.
to the power.
But he killed God and he killed Satan.
I mean,
Oh,
He
boy.
became-
how can you kill God?
Spawn became the creator of
That's
the
an
universe.
excellent question.
So really, God created
How can you
himself.
become the
Wait,
creator of the
wait.
universe? That's
So
not
wait.
possible.
So what you're
There
saying
was
is,
a one above all in their
so
universe.
what Spawn killed was Spawn. He's just, it's a cyclical.
No,
nature, is
no,
what you're
no.
telling me.
God was a very old lady with like chubby and glasses.
Yeah, she looked like that because
She
Spawn knew.
was like a crazy old cat lady.
Spawn knew that it was his time to end, and if he was looked like Spawn would
Oh, no,
understand. So he
he
decided
was-
to look like a little old lady instead, so Spawn could kill her easy.
No, he
Yeah,
was physically
it's all
chipped by the
cycle.
one above all. There was another one that actually was physically like, no, they're corrupt. You can take their job after he killed them. I think it was essentially Stan Lee or whoever the writer was.
Because wasn't there only like 100 comics of Spawn, like the original run?
I don't know, but but I know he by the end he literally kills God, he kills Satan, he becomes the creator of the universe and rewrites history, but continues becoming a hellspawn to help fight the way he did. He pretty much sets time back to the way it was after he made his deal.
Sounds like it was a cycle to me, like it was all planned.
It was a cycle, but now there's no. I think at that point there's. I don't know. I don't know enough.
There's no God.
Yeah, I don't-
It's a descendant in a state of anarchy.
I don't know.
Still, six pack is better.
I just
You are allowed to. But,
slapstick is better.
I mean,
Okay?
that's the whole point of having this talk show, so people can have erroneous opinions.
Slapstick is better.
Including you, right?
What?
Maybe you're the most erroneous of all.
I am the host, and I'm not wrong.
That doesn't mean you're not erroneous.
Right? You're not excluded. We see this in our sessions all the time.
I may be erroneous. I'm not
It's
erroneous,
true,
but I
it's
can
true.
be wrong.
That's
Really,
big.
what's the difference?
Moving on. Well, that's all the topics we had. If anyone wants to talk for a bit. I mean, none of us care about American politics because none of us are American. High five!
Yeah, Canada.
Yeah, things and stuff.
Yeah, I think that's a good place to end it. Thank
Yeah.
anyone and everyone who was watching. This was Jonathan, Sarah, Insanieac, and Jeremy. Please throw your plugs now.
YouTube. All that stuff.
YouTube
have
and all
none.
that stuff.
I am me.
YouTubes and
YouTube
I am
/
me.
Mr.
And that's
Insanieac.
it.
Check out my shit. Also on Twitch as well.
Yeah, he's cool.
Haven't live streamed in a little while, but that's why I'm here joining these ones because I need to feel some
Be a
presence.
child, and I will teach you.
My YouTube's just after good.
Maybe my next life.
And yeah. Thanks anyone for watching.
You need an outro cut phrase.
Yes.
I do.
Yes.
Good thing I haven't ended recordings.